Hi everyone, it's another beautiful day and my brother is in the building. The first week I completed of my own day, I decided to dress like the responsible person I've been dressing the past videos. But that's the thing, when it's family, you just feel like, okay, I can do whatever I want. Welcome to Toride Border.
Thank you, Sako. Well, you don't talk, I'm already. All right, I show up, even though you get the hat, but you decide for a pair or short. Probably not
No,
there.
they will definitely do another video next month, so I
All
will
right.
suit up. That's a good thing also. We get people they reach out, they say they want to dress me. They say they don't like the way I dress. I don't want to take the thing simple.
You know, I definitely stand behind those people 100%.
That's
You know,
true.
the level at which you don't take this thing, I think, say it need for be represented in the way you dress. You understand? Yeah, we get people the way they watch you, not just within America, but you know, internationally as well, right? So when you step up, may they know say Sako don't arrive. You see now.
To read it, don't arrive.
To read they don't arrive. There we go. Yep.
You already you be picking for house now, you be passing for house now. So but some few people they will probably watch you for the first time. Just tell us a little bit about you, names and where you're from.
Sure thing. Well, as I could talk, I don't did here before. You know, I don't come for to read it before. My name is Dan Zifonyen, or if you want to call the whole thing, Abamukong Daniel Zifonyen. They call me Agent Dan. I actually be a realtor based here for Dallas, Texas. Right, I service the DFW market and most other metropolitan areas them around here. So I don't do few deals them down for Houston, Austin, San Antonio, Killeen. As a matter of fact, any sideway business there for Texas, if there's money to be made in real estate, you know, I engage myself in those areas. So now what did I do? I help for connect buyers and sellers, and with leases, so rentals as well. My area of expertise that.
Wow. So I know we're not supposed to go back to those basics, but just for who be realtor?
Sure. So foundational things them, right? Realtor. The name Realtor really it apply to person where it be registered with the National Association of Realtors, right? So now a trade organization, and if you register to become a part of that organization, they give you that appellation, say Realtor. You see, so obviously I engage in real estate, but not only that, I don't take that extra step to become a part of the National Association of Realtors, and I be a registered member with that association.
Tell us, what are some of the current trends happening right now?
Sure. The one thing that is really happening right now, which all of us are seeing, is the interest rate, right? From the start of this year, I would say around March, we've had several increases in the interest rate. So the Fed continues to raise the interest rate. And even though that does not directly affect the mortgage rate, but it tends to flow in the same direction. So when the year started, we had interest rates around 3%. Right, and then sometime around May, June, we had interest rates go up as high as 6%. Right, and that's a trend that it's expected to continue through the end of the year. And what that has done for the most part, it's tried to bring some equilibrium in the market. The last few years, we've seen they call it a seller's market. A lot of sellers had power because they had too many buyers trying to buy very few houses. Inventory was low. Right, so what's happened is now there is a little bit of a shift. There are now fewer buyers, and of course, you know, now there's some sort of an equilibrium in the market.
Oh, what are some of the things people should expect, especially when they are buying homes? I think for the first time.
Sure. So you know, one of the things that, again, this is
Should I
probably
use the word buying or ownership? Like owning a
buying.
home, buying.
Buying, yeah,
Okay.
like, you know, obviously it starts from that, the process of buying, right? Once you've eventually bought, and then you take possession, and now you own a home.
Okay.
You see, so I guess if you really want to get technical, then you can split it up to say these are the things that you need to do to get yourself ready to buy, and then once you've bought, this is what to expect, you know, as you own a home for the first time, right? So Well, now that you've opened it up, I would say
Yeah,
let's
so
look
the
about
basics for buying, but
Sure.
then I really want you to focus on ownership.
on ownership. Absolutely. So the basics of buying, first things first, everything, well, not everything, but a lot of things in America run on credit, right? The expectation is you need to have a good credit, okay? And a good credit, I would say, range from anywhere in the 600s, the mid 600s, you know, upwards to 700s and even 800, right? And then the other expectation is you have to have a job. So there has to be income coming in, either a job or a business that is generating revenue, such that you can repay that loan that you'll be taking, okay? And then, of course, you know, you need to be stable, right? Some level of stability. You're not an individual that is bouncing from job to job, you see. So once you have those things, you know, you apply to a mortgage lender. The mortgage lender is going to check you out, right? Do, I guess, a background check, quote unquote, to be sure that if they loan you this money, you're going to be able to repay it, all right? And when that is done, then you go through the process, you engage with me, we find you a house, and I guide you throughout that process, and you can close on the house. Now, once you close on that house, you own the house, and there are certain things, like you said, to expect, you know, that come with home ownership, right? And one of those things is taxes. You have to pay property taxes on any house that you have, right? That's not something that is common when you're renting. You don't pay taxes when you're renting, okay? Insurance, that applies with rentals, but with home ownership, you must have insurance as long as, you know, you have a mortgage on that house. And even more so because it's more expensive, it's a bigger, it's a great expenditure, and things cost a lot more to replace or repair. So it's important to have insurance, right? And then another thing too is now you have to understand that you're solely responsible for this house. It's yours. If you live in an apartment, something breaks down, you call the landlord, right, to come fix it. Now this is yours. You are really responsible for making sure that this place is, you keep it up. And if something were to break down, it's your responsibility to do the repairs on, you know, whatever has broken down, right? And that's one thing that a lot of people do not take into consideration when they go into home ownership. But my job is to be sure that I guide you and make sure you understand that, you know, there is a total cost of ownership. It's not just making the mortgage payments, but you have to be ready for whatever eventualities come your way with owning that property.
Wow. Paying off mortgage early. I want us to say something about that. I want you to say something about that.
Sure. So the one thing that, you know, I think a lot of us with our background from Africa or many other parts of the world, we are not necessarily, you know, used to mortgages, right? You have your money, you build your house, it's your house, right? You don't have to continually make a mortgage payment. However, you come to the US and, you know, there's a system in place that is set up to help encourage home ownership, right? Because let's say right now the average price of a home, it's 300 and I think it's like 325 or so, right? The average Joe on the street is not able to come up with 325,000 to buy a house, right? However, if you say, you know what, Mr. Average Joe, this house costs 325,000. We are going to let you take a mortgage and you would be able to make maybe, you know, 2,500 payments every month. It's easier to afford that, right? But the trick is if you have an opportunity, especially for those of you that own your own homes, to look at the amortization schedule and you see how much is going to go towards interest over time, right? Because for the most part, people go for 30-year mortgages. Right, if you look at how much you're going to pay in interest, at times it's, you know, 2 or 3 times more than the amount of money that you even borrowed, right? So it's, if you have that ability, I'll strongly encourage you to look into paying off the mortgage early. That way, you know, you're not paying a lot towards interest, okay? You know, those who understand it, like compounding interest, right? They tend to benefit from that. So if you look at it, the financial institutions have really realized that there's a lot to gain from this. And if they keep you hooked for 30 years, they're going to make a whole lot of money from your back. And you can really free yourself and live a totally debt-free life if you can, you know, choose to pay off the mortgage early and be able to keep more of your money and use it to be able to generate wealth.
Um, what do you think our community, people from our community should know um, about purchasing homes? Like, what do you think should be the basics for us to know when it comes to owning homes?
Sure. So I would say first things first, right? If you look at, the hierarchy of needs, right? Maslow's hierarchy of needs, our physiological needs. We need to have a shelter. We need a place to stay. That is very high up there. So regardless, you're going to need it, right? Whether or not you own that property or whether you are paying rents to somebody else, you need a place to stay. Okay. So you look at it this way. If it's within your ability to own a property, then there is no need for you to hesitate or stay back from doing that, because you're going to be paying somebody else and helping that person build wealth. Whereas on your own part, if you were able to buy a house, you could buy a house, and it's yours, right? So just think of it as you're being your own landlord. You're paying yourself to stay in that house. And the other thing which a lot of people have come to realize is not only are you paying off the principal, but there is also value appreciation in that house. So over time, the price at which you bought that house is not going to be the same price that you might sell it a few years down the line. You see, so it's important to keep that in mind. And then another thing too is, you are here, right? You have children, the children are growing up. That apartment, is not yours. There's no way you can eventually one day say, you know what, I am about to retire and move back to Cameroon or move to the Caribbean and enjoy the sunshine and the beach, right? Hey, son, take over this apartment. It's not going to happen, right? But if it's a house, over time, you've most likely paid off the house, and now you can say, son, I'm willing, or daughter, I'm willing this house to you. It's yours. Enjoy it, and you can maybe hand it over to the next generation as well. So it stays in the family, and if you choose, you can even sell it, take the money and go somewhere and enjoy your life. So it's important to think about it from the standpoint of you're trying to build a legacy. You're trying to have something that you can hand off to the next generation. That's one thing I want the community to keep in mind.
What are some of the common challenges you've noticed when it comes to home ownership in our community?
Sure. So I would say, personally, I haven't had a situation where any of my clients has had to foreclose, right? I think for us as a people, we do value, there is that we've come to realize that benefit in ownership, and we will fight to make sure that we keep that property, even if it means calling a brother or a sister and say, you know what, help me keep this house. So it's not something that is common among our people, foreclosure, right, which is good. But the one thing that I want to say is, for most of us, we tend to I'm probably going to lose some friends over this one, but we tend to compare, right? That's the one thing that I've realized. You say, you know what, I want a house just like this individual has, right? But you don't know, what that individual's income is. You don't know what situation that individual found himself in. And that individual might have bought few years ago and paid half the price that you're trying to pay now, right? So situations are different. A lot of people, just see things and they look at it at face value, and they don't dig deep to really understand what's going on behind the scenes. And we want to compare, you want to have the same thing, but your income will not permit you to be able to have the same thing. So it's a little bit of a struggle for me, trying to make people understand at times that, well, based on the income, this is where you should be, right? I wish I can sell everybody $1 million house, right? But it's not realistic, right? If your income does not permit you to have $1 million house, there is no way that I can make it happen. So, it's not, I'm not the bad guy, I'm not the enemy here, right? Just understand, with me, it's the circumstances, the finances won't permit it. So that's really one of the biggest challenges I've faced, working with people in my community.
They used to say cut your coat according to your size. These days, it's cut your coat according to your material. What you have already, So
That's funny. If that was the case, some people would not even have code that.
So then you know what to go for. Don't go for a suit. No, the whole one getting a could be. You know, so you don't get enough.
You don't get material, but get code. That's funny, man.
So you use the word foreclosure. Now, for people who don't already buy a house, I think they probably understand what that is. But for those who they never buy a house, or maybe they never really, because me personally, I don't hear that word so many times.
Sure.
But can you just explain to us what?
Absolutely, absolutely. Foreclosure, right? When you're buying a house, what happens is you engage with the bank. Right, the bank would say, you know, we need 3%, 3.5% of whatever the purchase price of this house is. You bring your 3.5%, and the bank brings in the rest, right? Which I think was at 96.5% to make up the difference, right? So the bank has 96.5% share of that house, so they have a greater percentage of ownership of that house. If you are unable to make your mortgage payments, right, on a month-to-month, you've had, I don't know, you lose your job, or you go crazy and you decide that you don't want to pay anymore, the bank would take over the house, because really it's theirs. They own a greater share of the house, right? So that process of the bank taking over that house, that's what's called foreclosure. So you get to, you know, cease ownership, and you no longer can enjoy the benefits of owning the home. So you get kicked out, send the sheriff, they come, you know, kick you out, lock the door, and the bank will now take over that house and then try to resell it at whatever price that they are able to, you know, to resell it to get it back. The reason I had mentioned earlier that most of our people try to avoid that, if you have a foreclosure, that stays on your record, right? With the foreclosure, you cannot buy for another 7 years. So it stays on your record, and it really messes things up for you. So if you have a house, please, whatever you can do, keep that house. Don't let the foreclosure get on your record. It will not be good.
Now, if they foreclose, do they give you back any amount of money, considering you'll be maybe making payments for the last 15 years or 20 years, and then for just 1 month or whatever you couldn't make up?
I've not seen it happen. I know with taxes, if the county takes over your house because you fail to pay your taxes, you get, you know, the county would keep whatever taxes you owe, and then you get the difference, right? But as far as foreclosure is concerned, I don't know. As far as I've not seen it happen that, you know, the homeowner gets to keep something, you know.
Damn, this is deep. Is there any way around that? Like, for instance, they're going to foreclose. Is there anything you can actually do to...
Apart from making your payments, I think, so normally what most people do not also realize is sometimes, you know, you just need to pick up the phone and call somebody, right? If you are able to talk to a customer service rep, that is reasonable enough, right? Because at the end of the day, it's not like, you know, it's a machine that is doing these things. It's people, right? You've had a hardship, you know. Call somebody, talk to them, right? Whoever holds that note, right? Talk to them. Hey, I hit a hardship, medical stuff, whatever. I hope to be back on my feet in, you know, X number of months or whatever. Can you give me an extension, right? It's not like you miss one payment and it happens. It's something that, you know, has to have happened. You've missed 3 payments, and then, you know what? Like, okay, this guy, you know, he's definitely not wanting to pay this, right? So it's a build-up. Once you start realizing that things are not going the way they should be for you, then obviously you can, you know, talk to whoever holds the note and see if you can come up with an alternate plan. There are ways to help you go about it.
Any special promotion for August?
You know what, guys? August is my birthday month. August 15 is my birthday, so I've got a special promotion going on right now, right? So at this particular point in time, you know, throughout the month of August, if anybody is to sign a contract to buy a house, it doesn't matter, pre-existing, you know, new construction, if you want to sell a home and you contract with me to do a sale during the month of August in celebration of my birthday, and because I'm a very generous guy, you know, I'm going to give you $2,500 at closing, all right? So I know it's expensive to buy a house, I know even when you sell, you want to realize as much as you can from that sale. So $2,500 is my personal commitment to you. It's going to go towards your closing cost if you're buying, and it's going to go as a credit to you if you're selling. So that's an extra $2,500 you can use to do whatever. Take the kids to vacation, take your wife, out or your husband out in the town and enjoy yourself. That's my gift to you in the month of August. So it's only going to last in the month of August, so better call me now, yo.
Look again for that camera, talking for pigeon.
My country people, wait till they talk now, say, if you decide, say, you want to buy a house for this month of August na my birthday, August 15, I celebrate my birthday for August 15, right? And I be a very generous person, as una know. So if you decide, say, you want to buy a house, or if you want to sell a house for this month of August, we get a contract in place. Between now, today na August 1st, so between now and August 31st, right? If you decide, say, you go sign a contract, buy or sell, I will give you $2,500 for being able to sweeten this deal for you. You understand? So if you buy, it will go towards your closing costs, and if you sell, it will be extra money for your pocket where you go take and go house. So again, now a limited time offer, August only. Call me, we will make this thing happen.
August 2022 only. Don't miss a man call 2024. So you say August. I don't.
Maybe next year we'll be more generous.
That's true. Maybe, yeah.
But right now August 2022, not 2,500.
Challenges faced as a small business owner.
Sure. I would say, well, a big challenge, right? You see, where I don't just do it. I don't decide to do a promotion, but I get a lot of people within our community where they try to squeeze me. You understand? The average drive time for inside Dallas here, Metro Dallas, right? Now, 50 minutes. That's our average drive time for Metro Dallas. I live on the south side. If I get to come out here, go show a house or Frisco or Plano, and then not to talk of a place like Melissa, right? That's like an hour, 15 minutes drive. So imagine, say, I did do that drive, several times to the clients for show them a house. And at the end of the day, that client is to expect, say, once we close, I will give them half of my commission or a quarter of my commission or something like that, right? You need to consider, say, gas be very expensive. You need to consider, say, I don't take away time from other business activity. They want for people to for come, engage with you, right? Or even my family, right? So another thing, say, a lot of people then they fully recognize the value where as a professional I bring to the table, and they try for squeeze me, try for make me give I don't know, take part of my pay, right? So I render a service and the commission and my compensation. So I just they try for make me my community understand, say, that's how I earn a living. Right, that's how I take care of my family, and that's how I be able to give back to my community, and that's how I be able to support other charity organizations and other things where they happen for community. So just keep that in mind, my people. And then another one thing to now, respect for time, right? It be very common way, someone say, okay, we'll meet up for 1 o'clock, right? 1 o'clock don't reach. I should don't. I did wait. 1:30, man over show.
For 2 weeks,
for 2 weeks. It be a painful thing, just if you call your doctor say show up for 1 o'clock, right? 12:55 you already did the fee paperwork. You understand? Now the way that way again, now the way that they make money, now the way that they earn a living. So as I get an appointment with you, I get an appointment with other people there. So if you delay me, one delay will cause delay throughout the day, and I need to reschedule all those appointments then, and be a good look. You see, as a people, I think so we need to really get better. We need to go past that, constant apologizing, sorry for being late, sorry for starting late. We can do better as a people, right? Time is life, man. Time is not just money. Time is life. You do waste my life, you do waste your life. We not do that for one another, right? Respect one another, value another person in your life, and treat them better.
Wow. As a realtor, what was the best part for you about being a realtor?
I would say when I decided to get into real estate, right, primarily even though it's not, 100% altruistic, because I'm getting compensated for this, right? But primarily, I had that desire to be able to help people within our community explore opportunities in real estate, you see, because there is no end to what you can do with real estate, right? You can buy one property, refinance, pull out equity from that property, buy another property. A lot of people within the US have used that to be able to build wealth, right? And I think it's something that we as a people can also tap into and be able to stand financially and be strong and be a force to be reckoned with within DFW, right? Like we're discussing earlier before this camera started rolling. As a people, if we get to a point where we are strong enough, right? If somebody is running for mayor of Arlington or whatever, right? They would know who we are. They will come meet us. They'll say, hey, man, how do we get the Cameroonians to vote for us, right? But until we get to a point where we are strong, until we get to a point where we're united, until we get to a point where we can stand and be a force to reckon with, we are like nobodies, right? So we need to be able to have our own footprint. We need to be able to, own blocks, right? You drive down Pioneer, you drive down Arkansas, you see, other nationalities, they own strip malls, they own entire blocks, and it's, all the buildings are named in their languages. I've not seen any such thing that we own, right? We can come together as a people and be able to do things like that and have our own footprint in the city, have our own footprint in the state or even nationwide, and be able to, get a name for ourselves.
Is there anything you were hoping we talk about, maybe that I did not bring up?
Do I need to answer this on camera? No.
Okay. So, man, thank you very much for coming. Always a pleasure having you. If you can, you say make a wish so I can make a wish.
Tori Day, make a wish, my brother.
Have you every month, once every month? Is that possible?
Good God Almighty. You know what? I have to say this, guys. You guys see this guy right here? From the time I started, right, I would say me looking at this camera right now is thanks to this man. I'm so serious. Me looking at the camera right now is thanks to this guy. I remember when I started and, he'll call me and say, hey, let's do a shoot, right? And I'm so nervous, I cannot even, talk. I had to think and, but that whole camera presence is thanks to you, right? And now I'm fluid, I'm not 100%, but I am not where I was, 2 years ago, right? If you want to have me once a month, I will be here once a month.
No, definitely. I feel like we need to have you once a month, because this is just the best we can do for our community. Else, I don't want to use the word ignorant. I don't want to use the word no one thought so. I just feel like Mojo push the information out there.
Sure.
And I don't know any other better person than you. Before sitting here, you're somebody I admire from a distance. The way you talk, the way you carry yourself, humility. You even talked about how you support the community, because besides helping people own homes, you do a lot for the community, which I never ever mentioned, but no so this year. So trust me, if you can do that for us once a month, I'll just look for topics, especially reach out to people, let them send us questions, let them just whatever they want to know, so we can sit here once a month and talk about that. And you never know who we are going to bless. Remember, I always tell you, I'm not looking for 4 million people to bless with every video I do. No, I'm looking for one person.
Absolutely.
And man, thank you very, very much for coming. Any day, anytime, Toyota is home. You already made the promise. Today in our face, it means you probably.
I'll be back, guys. Definitely be back, and we probably might do a live format, right, where viewers can ask their questions live, and we.
I think the next session, that's what we'll do. We just renovated this place, so
I see.
I'm still trying to set up the cameras and everything, but we'll definitely do a live session.